Alright, good Friday morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good start to your day. Let's go ahead and get some of this stuff shared out real quick, and I will get to it. So as you can see from the pictures, or the video that's up right now, I got this is the Jmt Pro Rt Chassis. This with the LMT. It's got all the upgrades that I offer and that TREAL offers for their trucks. Actually, this one doesn't have all the upgrades, but it's getting all the upgrades. The only upgrade that it really can't get is the stock sway bars, because they've been deleted on this chassis. And with the advent of TREAL's new sway bar links and stuff, I may consider putting it back in there at some time. That way you have the option between the ones that come with the kit or the TREAL ones aftermarket. Let's see if I can pull this up on my phone so we can see if anybody comments come through. I know it's early in the morning. Some people probably just getting out of bed this morning, depending on where you're from. Live chat. Alright, so I got chat pulled up on my phone so I can see it. Alright, so I had a request to get some stuff done with this, show a video on how this is done, so I decided to do it. I'm gonna try to do it as much as I can without interfering with you guys seeing what's going on here. But what I got going in here is I've got sealed flange bearings. I'm also going to put sealed bearings into the transmission itself once I tear it apart, and it's going to get the new TREAL. We'll go ahead and cut that open here so you guys can get a look at it. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible, but it is real time, so we'll see what happens. So the hardware kit that comes with this replaces or substitutes the ones that are on the truck now. I'm actually going to put in stainless steel hardware so that this hardware and the bearings don't apply. I've also got let's get the sealed bearings here. Let's see, I gotta remember which ones they are. I think this is it. Yep. I gotta cut this out and verify. I already built one, but I just should have been a little bit, so I want to make sure I get the right ones here. These are not the right ones. The holes on the inside's smaller, which I think that's for the yep, there's a very small difference between that's not it either. Sorry, should have had these sorted out before I came on live, but yeah. I think we found it. Yep, I found it. There's two of these. That can go away. That can go away. Alright. So, alright, so here's the TREAL housing. Solid billet aluminum. Well, not solid, but it's two pieces. Makes it a little tricky putting this in, and I'll kind of show you what I mean when I get to that. I'll go ahead and take the trans plate off. And I do sell stainless steel kits for these, but I haven't upgraded it to accommodate for the new housing yet. But you still got your retaining bolts inside of here. There's the 4 bolts that hold this in place just like the other one. The only difference is this one, the gear case itself, actually holds the bearing in place and not the little horseshoe bands that go down and then you put the bolts on. These are just, it's all built in. You see they're built into the gear case there, and then there's your other piece, which would be same as the stock pretty much. They said it is just 2 pieces instead of the stock one I think is 4 pieces altogether. We'll go ahead and set these bearings out of the way. Also, I'll go ahead and open this up. Also, while I'm putting the sealed bearings in, I'm also going to be putting in a new Diff Cup, which I'll show you here. It's a new Diff Cup. Right now I have silver, black, green, and blue available. It's a limited run. I think they're not going to be doing a whole bunch of them, or not right now. They're just kind of testing the market and to see how everything is going. But so hopefully they'll have more options available with the colors to come. The big one obviously is black and silver because everybody likes that. And then with the Grave Digger and Son of a Digger, obviously the green and the blue are pretty popular for that as well. So what we need to do to start off is you'll need a 2mm. I use the MIP driver set with my Bosch drill driver, and you'll need to start taking the hardware out, which this has already got some stainless steel that I'll just use over onto the other truck, or the other, not the other truck, the other transmission. Alright. That sucker's stuck on there. Alright, so unfortunately, I repacked this with some of the, what the heck is it? This stuff here. It's the Maxima Racing Oils waterproof grease. Give that a try. I usually just use like a lithium grease, but I figured I would use something, I guess it's a little bit more geared towards the RC use, because obviously different oils and greases have different composition. I have to put some gloves on because it's going to get sticky and messy. So the next thing I want to do is I want to disconnect the drive shafts. And that takes a 2.5 millimeter. Disconnect both sides. We'll set those aside. Alright. So now I got grease all over the place. We can go ahead and disconnect. I need a 2 millimeter again, kind of back and forth. Disconnect the lower links or trailing arms, whichever you have. And if you use, just a word of caution, if you use a drill driver for disassembly, and it's a pretty safe bet, you can use that. Just be careful when you're putting stuff back together. You don't want to over tighten them and strip them out. Alright, so now get those out of the way. Alright, now that we got the skid plate all done there, or the outer pieces of it, go ahead and jump back to our 2.5 millimeter. Get those screws out of there. There's 4 of these. Alright, now I'll just pull out the retaining blocks, get my screws out of there. And these ones I will be Loctiting, because you are going into aluminum, and hopefully I won't need to get back into them again. Alright, got all the hardware out. Let me get my Loctite and stuff ready. I'm just using some regular blue medium Loctite, stuff that I found that works good for me. I don't have any problems with it. Other people got other stuff. I actually got I think it's the same stuff. Actually, it's the actual Loctite version. I got more of it. When I run out of that stuff, I'll have that to fall back on. Alright, so all that's there. Remove that drive shaft. Now we're going to pop the differential out, which I can't. I might have already put sealed bearings in this. I don't know, but nonetheless, we're going to open it up and take a look. But I'll get to this part later. I know most of you are more worried about how to get this thing apart and put the new one back in it. So go ahead. You got to take the cover off the gearbox here. Just got 3 screws. Again, 2 millimeter screws. So depending on how you do this, you got to jump back and forth between hex drivers, but whatever way works. Take that off. And I shouldn't have to mess with the motor. At least I hope not. When I did the last one, the truck was being built from the ground up, so the motor wasn't in there already. So hopefully I won't have to mess with the motor. Alright, so I already put the seal bearings in here, so good. I couldn't remember which truck I already put them in and which one I didn't. Alright, so you just take your gear sets out here, set them aside. Now you have to take out the C-clip that's inside of here that holds the shaft. Oh crap. Just be careful taking this thing off, because they can go flying on you if you're not careful. Just set that aside. Now your center drive let's come right out. It should. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just take this off. See if I got. Oh man, yeah, I gotta do that. So the motor's going to come out because there's a screw right here on the top, just below the motor. So that will have to come out and get out of the way so I can do that. So jump back over to my 2.5. Pull back up here. Alright, so you're just going to take out the 2 screws that hold the motor in. Alright, so now we can cut the zip tie here. I'm gonna have to disconnect the good God. Man, those wires are hard. And there we go. Alright, so we got the motor out of the way. Alright, so then the screw right down in here, just 2mm. And looks like I'm going to have to swing the battery tray up out of the way. Maybe. Maybe not. This here would be a good thing to have some ball and Allen wrenches, but I do not have any. Or you can use the L-shaped Allen wrenches as well. New gearbox, you don't have the screw problem. So Alright, should be enough. A little bit more. Anybody just joining in now, just to recap, we're going through putting the new TREAL gearbox into the LMT. Some people had questions about it, so I figured I don't know if there's any other videos out there right now, so I figured I would do one since I needed to do this anyways. What better time than the present? Alright, so you get that off. Just toss that to the side. Now we can pull out our gear. And now you pulled out your main pinion gear. If you're watching this on Facebook, I apologize, but I'm not tracking that live. If you want to chat, just come on over to the YouTube channel while it's going. We'll get that out of the way. We won't need that anymore. Alright, so now would be a good time to clean this up. I had this out in the mud, ran it in the mud races. Got a nice little second place trophy. Pretty cool. Feel free if you'd like to share the video. I would appreciate it. Alright, so this, let me put these away before I lose them. So this here, when you put it in there, it goes in pretty much the same. Obviously you put your bearings in, or you can leave it out for now. This drops right down inside there. Alright, now we can go ahead and put our gear in, but like I had mentioned before, it is such a tight fit here that it doesn't fit real easily with the bearing already in place. So if you just slide the bearing over the shaft, you see that? Slide the bearing over the shaft, and then drop your shaft in, and then seat your bearing. Just like that. I'm sorry, I know it fits right back down in there. Otherwise, you're trying to fight it because the bearings are bigger. So it's hard to get in there with the bearing, and I'll just put it that way. Leave it at that. Next, you want to put your differential in, because if you don't, and you put the cover on, you're going to be hating life. Because like I mentioned in a previous post on Facebook, the transmission is a solid piece. There's two pieces instead of a bunch of separate pieces. So, and then when you're putting your gears back in, kind of figured or realized they're gears towards the rear. So your spindle, or your differential gear, when you put it inside, you want that to be the gears towards the rear of the truck. Alright, now we got our cover. Now the good thing about this cover here, or this piece here, the way they have it made, is it's universal. It doesn't matter which way you put it in, it's going to line up both. It's symmetrical on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. So you go ahead and you put it in. You got your keepers already on there. You slide that bad boy on. Just like that. Fits like a glove. Then your gear inside. Make sure it spins freely. Then take your 2.5s. Go ahead and put those in. I have my torque set low on these, like 5 inch-pounds. Oh, yeah. It'd help if I put some Loctite on them. Biggest thing is if you're doing this, and you're actually putting them in like I am with the driver, is to make sure that make sure you start them first, or make sure they're started before you just go cranking down on it, because you can strip these out pretty easily or cross thread them. So just be cautious of that. I know some people say don't use a driver to put them on there, but alright, so now with all those installed, if you want, you come back in. But I found 5 is a pretty good torque value, at least on this driver I have. It gets them nice and snug. Alright, so next, while you got your cover off, you want to go ahead and put your drive shaft back on. That way you can reach it through the holes here. These I'll put in with the driver, or with the wrench. I know these don't come, or I think they do actually come Loctited. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's always a good idea just to put some more on them, because in theory you shouldn't have to tear into this very much, if at all. These gears are pretty stout. I think there have been a few people that actually stripped them, or not stripped them, but blew out the gears, stripped the gears, whatever. But I have never experienced that personally. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, go ahead and put the cover on. This cover I don't want to lock tight, so if I have to get in there and clean it out or re-grease. I don't want to have to fight or worry about, because these things go in the mud. A couple of them do, so always getting in there after a race and cleaning them out. All right. Swap back over here to 2mm. Hey, if anybody's out there watching, or whoever's out there watching, just give me a shout. Let me know who's out there. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a lot of reason why I do the lives like this. One, because someone requested this particular one. And I think a lot of people are probably a little leery about doing it just because it is new. Not that it is difficult, but it can be difficult if it's not done right. And I'm basically going through all the steps that I went through, and lessons learned from the first time that I put it in. Because the first time I put it in, I had the bearings all set, and that didn't work out too well for obvious reasons, because, like I said, it's a really tight fit in there, and it's not like the original where you can take those pieces out and then it just slides out. It's a little bit closer, tighter tolerances, so it does make for a more interesting install. So now I'm just doing everything pretty much in reverse, putting everything back together. Starting with putting the top screws on there, and then putting the gears back. Put a little grease on them. Like I said, normally I wouldn't grease these so much, but like I said, these do go in the mud, so having a good waterproof grease would be beneficial. Let's see. Alright, so those are done. I'll go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. Lock everything in. Yes, there's a C-clip that goes on the inside. Don't forget to put that back on. I just took one apart and happened to lose the C-clip, but it hasn't affected the truck at all, so I haven't been too concerned about putting a new one back in. But make sure that you get that little C-clip back in there. Just keeps your gears from having any kind of slop in them, moving in and out. Alright, that's all back together. Drive shafts are in. Now we can go ahead and connect our lower links. Again, I'm not going to Loctite these, mainly because they're not internal, and if I need to take them off for any reason, I can quickly and easily do that. get the alignment. Get my alignment off a little bit here. Gonna loosen up these other four. That way we can kind of move around a little bit. And it might be a little bit to do with the chassis, because the chassis, this is the oh, awesome. So I hate about these button heads. I'm going to swap these out for some square head or socket cap. Alright, so socket cap it is. See if I got the right length. And of course not. No, I don't. So back to button heads. 25 millimeter. 20 is just a little bit too short. That's much better. Just had it slightly misaligned. Why these are being such a pain? The other ones fell right in. It could be just the way I'm putting them in, or just a slight variance in the manufacturing process. But most likely, just me trying to rush. And if you guys watching didn't already know, I got some new stuff coming out. Or I got some new stuff out for the LMT. I got the new hub spacers in, which are the dually. They have they're called dually because they dual purpose, not for, or to be misunderstood as dual wheels, like side-by-side wheels, but solely the fact that they're dual purpose. And you can mount J concept wheels or stock LMT wheels. J concept wheels will put you at about 16 and a half inches wide. The stock LMT with the wideners is about 17 millimeters, or I'm sorry, 17 inches wide, which is more just for playing around, bashing. You couldn't use them for racing because the limit right now, they changed it from 16 to 16 and a half. So for those spacers in particular, they wouldn't be good for racing, but you can bash with it with the stock tires or do whatever and then quickly swap over to J concepts instead of having to buy two sets of hubs, which the flower pot hubs are still available for the 17 millimeter. So you could use those and just get two of them, but it'd be cheaper just to have the one and swap them out. But the option's always there if you want it. Alright, so that is, I'll put the motor back in offline. I'm sure you guys Sure you guys could figure that out, but just wipe everything down, and there you have it. The install of the TREAL lower skid plate. I hope it helps. They said I did this by request. A couple people were requesting it after I showed the video or talked about it. So I hope this answers any questions they may have. Yeah. So actually, there's one thing I did forget to do. I'm looking at it on my table right now. I was talking about the small C-clip. I didn't put the big C-clip back on for the pinion. So I gotta break back into it. Just a little foobar. Alright. There we go. Now it's back on. Put my gear back on, put cover back on, and that will pretty much conclude this video on how to install the new TREAL gearbox and do the swap. I didn't do the bearing swaps with sealed bearings because I forgot that when I tore this apart after the last mud race, I put sealed bearings in it already. So, like I said, I'll put the motor back in offline because it's not anything fancy. But if you have any questions about anything that I went over or how this was done, just let me know. I'll be glad to kind of highlight or go over any questions you might have as best as I can. They got some more stuff coming out here real soon. I got a special project coming, not a special project, but I'm calling it a special project. But I got some stuff on the way to me that will be putting on here. Actually, it'll go on the TREAL truck probably, which is the one that's decked out with all the TREAL parts that they have, and that are available on my site, JR Custom Designs /shop. Check it out. Let me know if you have any questions or you see something you might want to know a little bit about how it's installed or what it is. Just feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can. Alright, well, until the next time, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful to some people. And again, have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And we'll see you in the next video.